It is Tuesday, the 4th day of April 2023. Hello there and welcome from me, Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, to UBC News tonight. First though, let's have a look at our top stories. In our top stories tonight, the First Lady Janet Museveni implores youth to shun homosexuality. Presidents Kagame of Rwanda and Ruto of Kenya hail pacification of the DRC. ICT committee meets UBC top management led by the line minister Dr. Chris Baryomunsi. And in sports, Gators Swim Club shines in South Africa. Hello there and welcome once again. We're coming to you live online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. Now, President Yoweri Museveni has today fulfilled his pledge of a vehicle to the chairman of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, Professor Mohammed Lubega. The vehicle was delivered and handed over to Professor Lubega by the Vice President Jessica Alupo at Uganda Muslim Supreme Council headquarters in Old Kampala. The function was witnessed by the leadership of Uganda Muslim Supreme Council led by His Eminence, the Mufti of Uganda, Sheikh Ramadan Mubaje. Later, the Vice President was led on a guided tour of the Old Kampala Mosque by the Mufti and other officials. Details in this report.
Takbir. Allahu Akbar. Takbir. Allahu Akbar.
First of all, for fulfilling the pledge that's made, providing the chairman of the Uganda Council the vehicle in a standard period of not more than 2 days. We are very grateful as Muslims, are very grateful as an we also want to thank you for being a very quick messenger that you take them in very quickly and bring the results.
And I want to say Salam Alaikum. Takbir. So I want to bring you greetings from His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni, the President of Uganda. Sent you his warm greetings. And also Mama Janet, the First Lady and the Minister of Education, she also sent you greetings. What I saw in Luka was total unity of the Muslim community. Because when delegates were invited to introduce themselves from all the Muslim districts of Uganda, they were all physically represented. And from the body language, they had come happily to attend the Thanksgiving of their chairperson. So I want to start by thanking you very much as a Muslim community in Uganda for demonstrating that unity and togetherness. And because of that unity and togetherness, you are now able to articulate the areas where you want government to intervene in the Muslim community in Uganda. And Your Eminence, the memo which you gave me that day in Luka, together with all the documents, including the Constitution, have already been extended to the office of His Excellency the President. Okay. And he has received all of them. Today, we are here as friends again to interact with you and share with you the challenges you're facing, but also the successes from the speech you made and the speech His Eminence made, there are so many successes you have outlined, which I would like also to thank you for. Amidst the challenges, you have made so many successes as a Muslim community. He wishes you a very holy month of Ramadan. He knows that you are now in fasting.
We thank His Excellency the President. I repeat that he has done a lot for this country, and we are fully behind his programs.
Now, the First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Mrs. Janet Museveni, has implored young people to shun homosexuality and those in support of the LGBTQ movement. Mrs. Museveni appealed to the youth not to be enticed by money, favors, or by the lies that are being peddled around. She emphasized that homosexuality and all that goes with it is a grievous sin, as we hear in this story.
So I pray and implore you, do not be enticed by the money, by favors, or by the lies that are being bandied around. Homosexuality and all that goes with it is a grievous sin according to God's word.
The youth convention, convened by the Uganda Youth Forum in partnership with the Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity, was hosted by the First Lady at Entebbe State House. It ran under the theme, Wisdom, a steadfast work on sacred foundation, based on the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, whose central message is that true wisdom is based on our relationship with God, and which, without, we cannot make it in life. The convention was attended by many youths, physically, online via Zoom, YouTube and other social media platforms. The convention focused on instilling knowledge, understanding, discernment, and good counsel to the youth, and also inspired them on embracing decision-making, emotional intelligence, insight, uncertainty, and having a life purpose. In her keynote address, Mrs. Museveni explained that the times we live in are strange, with some nations and churches affirming and approving the right of people to commit what the followers of Christ not to be seen. They are legitimizing homosexuality, or what has come to be known as LGBTQ, as a human right.
But we who believe in the Lord Jesus Christ and the unchanging word of God know that that is a grave sin for which God destroyed the people of Sodom and Gomorrah.
The First Lady hoped that the young people will not be influenced by the philosophies of this world or the apostasy that is creeping through much of the church today, and advised them to pray, to receive wisdom, look to Jesus, and pursue righteousness in His strength. I too will be praying for you, she promised. She also urged them to maintain a faith that believes God, trusts His word, walks in spirit and in truth, and that looks to our Lord Jesus Christ, who is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Using various biblical teachings, Mrs. Janet Museveni explained to the young people about the important virtues called wisdom and discernment and what they mean. She defined wisdom as a divine gift that is granted by God whenever a believer asks for it, and it is the capacity of the mind that allows us to understand life from God's perspective and the ability to handle life with skill.
To live wisely, we must every day, as long as we live in right relationship with God. Be humble enough to acknowledge that there is a lot you do not know or understand.
She guided that to gain a heart of wisdom and to live wisely, the young people must on a daily basis be humble enough to acknowledge that God is the source of wisdom and ultimately the source of safety, and therefore ask Him for wisdom and seek help from Him. Other people who spoke, including Pastor Julius, Dr. James Magara, Mrs. Anne Muhaire, Pastor Martin Semper, Dr. Daniel Uheza, Pastor Stephen Langa, and Julia Mhumza also encouraged and empowered the young people with inspiring and enlightening insights and experiences on how to live a life of wisdom and faithfulness in a challenging and changing world.
to neighboring Rwanda now, where President Paul Kagame and William Ruto have lauded the East African community nations for their clear guidance in resolving the security situation in Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo. The leaders also praised Uganda for sending its UPDF troops to bolster the East African force already present in the Congo. The commendations were made during a joint press conference held at State House in Kigali. Samuel Senono reports.
Kenya's President William Ruto has kick-started his two-day working visit to the Republic of Rwanda. He was received by his counterpart, President Paul Kagame, at the State House in the capital Kigali, where he inspected the guard of honor mounted by the RDF before going in for closed-door talks with his host. The two leaders later witnessed the signing of MOUs between the two countries. Addressing the joint press conference, Rwanda's President Paul Kagame underscored the relationship Rwanda has had with Kenya over the years. He indicated that the two nations and others in the EAC are united by a common vision of a more stable region.
With the involvement of the East African community, the countries so far involved, I think putting heads together, the leaders of the East African community, and by the way, also because these are people near to the problem or linked to the problem one or the other. It goes into what is so often talked about, African solutions. I think well applied, truly these would provide solutions, because there is a direct stake into that, and people are close to the causes or to the problem itself.
On his part, Kenya's President William Ruto commended the EAC presidents for the clear guidance in resolving the security situation in the Eastern DRC.
The good news, the positive news, is that the last 1 month has seen a lot of positive development around the challenge of security in Eastern DRC. We now have, joining the Kenyan forces that have been there for the last almost 5-6 months, Burundi have now come in. Uganda have now come in, and forces also possibly from Angola have come to support the whole effort of stabilizing Eastern DRC.
I also asked the two presidents about liberalization of the airspace amongst the East African nations.
Your Excellencies, you've highlighted that in the bilateral talks that you've had and the many that you will continue to have, you've talked about the issue of trade and cooperation between the EAC nations. And reports indicate that for us to attain seamless trade in the East African region, we need to liberalize the skies. And East Africa has a project of the open skies. So, Your Excellencies, I would like to know, what is the status update of the EAC open skies? Thank you very much.
Opening up the skies, integrating communication lines, and serve very well within that framework, something that is so precious to our continent.
Have a regional airline. I think there are already consultations between Kenya Airways and South African Airways. There is possibility of consultations with Uganda Airlines, and I'm sure further down the road with all the other airlines in our region, so that we can make the skies of our countries one area and be able to move our people and services faster.
The two presidents, Paul Kagame and William Ruto, also underscored the need of African solutions for African problems. Samuel Senono, UBC TV News in Kigali, Rwanda.
Thanks, Samuel, for that story there. Now, the Parliamentary Committee on ICT has summoned Ministry of Finance officials for ignoring the presidential directives on Uganda Broadcasting Corporation funding. While interfacing with the UBC top management, the committee, led by Engineer Moses Magogo, discovered that the President has written several letters directing the ministry to support UBC to overcome its funding gaps, but the ministry has never responded. Philip Aguta reports.
Appearing before the ICT committee, UBC top management, led by the line minister, Dr. Chris Bariomusi, and the state minister for ICT, Godfrey Kabianga, told MPs that UBC was created by an act of parliament. The 2005 Act of Parliament proposed that UBC be funded fully by government or introduce TV fee, which never happened.
They have fiscal funding. After I get many of the auditors coming to my office, they say, UBC has not paid us, we supplied this and this.
The over 15 years funding gaps placed a heavy financial burden on UBC. President Museveni has been directing the finance ministry to give special funds to UBC, but these monies have not been released.
There is two directives. The very first directive from His Excellency the President of April 2021 to the Ministry of Finance spoke to three things. One was a waiver of debt, especially the tax debt, the payment of UBC suppliers, and also facilitating UBC with an annual budget of 30 billion shillings. Unfortunately, that directive was not adhered to.
The committee also found out that monies appropriated by Parliament to UBC are never released to the fullest. The Deputy Managing Director, Maurice Mugisa, told the committee that this financial year, UBC was appropriated 34 billion shillings, but only 4 billion has so far been released.
ICT Committee of Parliament, because they have consistently supported us with budget support. The committee did recommend to the House and appropriated 34 billion for the financial year 22-23. But it's very unfortunate that the releases have not reflected the goodwill of the committee and of the House, the August House. And
this angered the committee members as they decided to summon the ministry officials.
The position of the committee will engage with the finance, because members, as we are speaking, there's a serious problem. I don't know whether you have seen the problem. The problem is that the entire country is off.
President on directive. Directive is very clear. Why are you coming here to get MPs? Where's MPs for what? You would have the money put in the budget and say MPs please approve. Or work with this. Now you bring us it's a directive. How do you want to we on the MPs to do it?
It should be noted that UBC operates 11 radio stations, 4 TV stations, and it is supposed to implement digital migration that requires 17 digital sites across the country to air all national, government, and presidential events stipulated in the policy. Philip Aguta, UBC News at Parliament.
Now, the Uganda Parliamentary Forum on Malaria wants the government to invest more funds in malaria control technologies and research. Now, this follows a successful eradication of malaria in China using modern spray methods against the female Anopheles mosquito. Addressing the media at Parliament, Chairperson, Uganda Parliamentary Forum on Malaria, Timothy Batua, called for proactive implementation and expansion of existing efforts on controlling malaria. Henry Okrut gives us more.
Uganda is the third highest contributor of malaria cases at 5% and seventh highest contributor to global malaria deaths at 3%.
These statistics are from the World Health Organization Global Malaria Status Report of 2022. Children under 5, pregnant women, persons living with HIV/AIDS are the most vulnerable to malaria.
32% of outpatient department, 12% of admissions, and 11% of deaths of all hospital admissions are due to malaria.
In Uganda, each episode of malaria costs 32,000 Uganda shillings.
Given the worrying situation posed by increasing number of malaria cases in our population and associated deaths and economic distress, the time for action is now.
This is why Uganda needs to emulate developed countries that have successfully eradicated malaria using modern technology and research. The People's Republic of China is one such country.
For them, they go for the large mosquito sources. The large mosquito sources, you talk of the wetlands. You have to go and sprawl of them. You talk of the sugarcane plantations. You talk of the pineapple plantations. You talk of these plantations, the very vast sources of mosquitoes. So there is no way you would spray them using the backpacks. You need a plane. That's what they are using in the countries that have eliminated malaria.
This appeal is part of an upcoming awareness campaign against malaria that Uganda is preparing to be part of. In the 20 days of advocacy will be a malaria walk and a medical camp on 23rd April 2023.
And appeal to everyone, appeal to government. As we work for malaria, let it listen to our voices and be innovative as much as possible for us to be able to eradicate malaria.
We need to work together and make sure that we create awareness so that the population can know that malaria is one of the problems that the country is facing, and we work together to ensure that we eliminate.
Ministry of Health, Lions Club, Parliament of Uganda and civil society organizations are the partners.
If we don't invest in eliminating malaria, our fight to eliminating poverty remains at stake.
So if we go for the repellent plants, we as women can even use those for firewood while protecting the environment and also while keeping malaria away.
This is a disease that can be prevented, that can be treated. Why should it be killing 14 Ugandans per day and it is not making news? We need to change that narrative and make sure that we can have a malaria-free Uganda.
Time to deliver zero malaria. Invest, innovate and implement is the global theme for World Malaria Day 2023. The national theme is getting back on track through a collective responsibility, while the malaria walk slogan is Zero Malaria Starts With Me. Henry Okrut, UBC.
The Speaker of KCCA, Zahara Luyirika, has suspended council sitting over lack of quorum despite some members turning up to attend. The Deputy Lord Mayor Doreen Nyanjura said they face a challenge of timekeeping. The sitting that was supposed to start at 10 in the morning started at midday with 25 members turning up, and yet, according to their rules of procedure, they have to be 27. Farida Nafka gives us more details.
Those councillors represent the people in 5 divisions of Kampala on the KCCA Council. They are opposing the decision by the Speaker of KCCA, Zahara Luyirika, to suspend the sitting for the ordinary meeting, claiming she arrived late. The Speaker arrived at midday to chair the meeting, which was supposed to start at 10 a.m. And of the things that put her off was to start a meeting without speakers being put on, which forced her to adjourn for 15 minutes. Some councillors complained that the meeting cannot proceed. After the 15 minutes elapsing, she adjourned it due to lack of quorum. Only 25 members had attended, and yet the rules of procedure require 27.
Make sure that we realize quorum and we see the technical person around with us in the next 15 minutes. So council is adjourned for 15 minutes.
Some of us believe in the rule of law. I think at least that is what defines us. In whatever we do, we follow what the law says. So there's nothing that the Speaker did that contravenes the law. There's nothing that the Speaker did that is outside the law.
One of the issues on the order paper some of the members suspect would have caused the adjournment is the consideration of the report on the bill for the Kampala Capital City Outdoor Advertising Ordinance.
27 members make the quorum, but we're more than 27. Out of the blue, the Speaker has withdrawn this sitting, saying on the claims of the quorum is not ongoing, is not on the table. This is unfortunate. We are not going to allow that. We are not going to allow that. There is something fishy going on.
However,
the chairperson of the standing committee say the document is not ready.
Era tukibadde tugenda kugamba speaker ekintu kinaba kubeera ki lwakuba gyesa abantu olugambo ludduka nnyo okusinga amazima n'abantu okwagala okukola nga amawulire agatali matuufu.
The Deputy Lord Mayor Doreen Nyanjura says as the executive of the city they have interest in the outdoor advertising ordinance.
We know the institution is losing a lot of money. The outdoor advertisers are collecting a lot of money. A lot of money. You can move out and find out how much they charge for each billboard that they have pinned. However, KCCA does not get a single coin. So we have a lot of interest in this, and we are hopeful that at the next council sitting, this is an issue.
Meanwhile, KCCA political team stands with the street vendors who have not been provided with an alternative market.
So as leaders, we are going to call upon whoever is operating on the streets to stand firm and they protest, because if they have not been provided with an alternative, they have to keep on the streets and work from there.
The adjournment of council to discuss report on casual workers, consideration of the report on the bill of Kampala Capital City Authority Public Transport Ordinance awaits further notice. Justin Nakami, Farida Nafuka at KCCA.
Talk with freedom. Get MTN Freedom voice bundles that don't expire. Dial *100 *21# or my MTN app for more bundles. Together, we're unstoppable.
The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, under the auspices of the East African Community, will host the 10th East African Petroleum Conference and Exhibition 2023 from the 9th to the 11th of May 2023 at the Kampala Serena Hotel in Uganda. Take full advantage of the investment opportunities in the East African region's vibrant oil and gas sector. To find out more on how to sponsor, exhibit, or attend the 10th EAPCE 23, visit www.eapce23.eac.int.
10 years of supporting health in Uganda. This year, the Kabaka Birthday Run will mark its 10-year anniversary on Sunday, 16th April at Lubidi, starting 7 a.m. and continue the fight to end AIDS by 2030. Buy your running kit today at 20,000 shillings from Airtel shops, Benchuanuka, Fubani, New Taxi Pack, or Majestic Brands office in Bulange Mengo. You can also pay using Airtel Money. Dial *185 *5#. Kits purchased using Airtel Money shall be picked from Airtel Wampe or Shop. Proudly sponsored by
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Mbara and Jinja.
Are you tired of high fees and slow transfer time when sending money? Look no further. Airtel Money is here to revolutionize the way you move your money. We have revised our rates, and now sending money from Airtel to other networks in Uganda, East Africa, and to the rest of the world has never been more affordable. Plus, you can trust Airtel Money to get your money where it needs to go quickly and safely. Simply dial *185# and start sending money. Switch to Airtel Money today and experience unbeatable rates and top-notch services for all your local and international money transfer needs. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
TB kills approximately 30 people daily, and 247 Ugandans fall ill of TB disease every day. TB has killed dreams and families. We all deserve a chance in life to hustle, smile. We all deserve a chance to dream and be the best version of ourselves. It is preventable and curable. Know your status. TB testing, treatment, and all TB-related services are free in all government hospitals and accredited private health centers.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
Their support meant so much to me, and as a teenage girl, I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.
Welcome back, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. A warm welcome to those of you just joining us. My name is Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. Now, religious leaders have encouraged Christians to keep religious values, as has been during the Lent season. As Christians mark the Holy Week that ushers in Easter season, they are challenged to keep humility and holiness even after Lent. The Holy Week commences with Palm Sunday, later Holy Thursday, Good Friday, and the D-Day, Easter Sunday.
Christians across the world celebrate Palm Sunday, which hosts various activities and marks the beginning of the Holy Week that goes to Easter Sunday, the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Palm Sunday is celebrated to remember Jesus' triumphant entry into Jerusalem, riding on a donkey with songs and praises, a situation that was short-lived as he would later be led into suffering to die for sinners. During the Holy Week, Christians reflect on what he went through ahead of his crucifixion.
We want to make a personal reflection of who we are in God and ask the Lord to invite us, or allow the Lord respond to the invitation of God to follow him.
The Good Friday or the Holy Friday, this is the day when we now seriously go on to the real event when Jesus went into his passion, his death and resurrection.
In the Catholic Church, the images inside the church are seen covered as a sign of empathy with Jesus during his suffering.
There should be less drumming in the church or dancing or that kind of thing is lowered down. The spirit is now a spirit of looking at Christ going to the moment of his suffering and the death. So
believers are challenged to continue to emulate good values even after Lent season.
We are not perfect yet. Definitely we shall maybe sometimes fail, but doesn't mean that after Lent then we don't care about remaining good people.
What we've been practicing intensively during these 48 days, and I would pray that we still hold on to that.
So we still have opportunity, dear friends, to walk away from simply ritual, tradition, religious practice to a real-life transformation, a real-life encounter with Jesus Christ, and that you can never run away from.
Easter, the celebration of Jesus' resurrection, ends the 40 days of Lent where Christians fast to imitate Jesus' fasting in the wilderness as he would later be crucified, buried, and resurrect after 3 days, which is Easter, that is celebrated annually across the world. Miriam Wumcha, UBC News.
The head of investigations in the murder of Maria Nagirinya and driver Ronald Chitaimbwa has pinned Kasolo Kompliamo as the mastermind of the crime. Take a watch.
High Court Criminal Division before Judge Isaac Muwata is proceeding with the hearing of the case, where 6 people are accused in the murder of Maria Nagirinya and driver Ronald Chitaimbwa. Prosecution witness number 21, Detective Sergeant James T. Barasa, told court how the accused tracked the movements of Maria Nagirinya and Ronald Chitaimbwa before kidnapping and murdering them.
Went to the areas of the resident of Nagirinya, Kasolo Kopliam and Katrega Sadat, and confirmed the residents. They were establishing the time when the deceased normally reached home.
Balasa added that upon arresting the accused, they disclosed to them that Kasolo Kopliam was the master plan of the deal. In concluding the evidence, Balasa also told court the accused Kasolo and Katelega's criminal records way back in 2023 and 2026 when they were convicted on charges of aggravated robbery.
That was on 8th of July 2018. He was convicted, Kasolo Kopliam, in a case of escape from lawful custody under Chira Court number 369 of 2018. Even for Katerega Sadat, he was charged with aggravated robbery. He was on remand until 24th June 2019.
Kasolo Kopliam, who represents himself, cross-examined the witness, however refuted all the evidence in chief, among others being the owner of the said phones used in committing the crime.
Ennaku z'omwezi zaali mmeka ze wateeka mu lipoota yo muno ze twagende wa Maria Nagirinya okusobola okuketta nga tetunaba kumuwamba. Wategeeza kooti nti nze ogenda okuwamba Maria Nagirinya. Omulimu gw'okuwamba Maria Nagirinya ddiiro ebagimpeera luzira mu kkomera gye nnali. Ddala kituufu ekirowoozo ekyo oba pulaani eyo ani yagireeta eyagiteekateeka.
Kasolo also pinned the witness Barasa and other police officers to have tortured him to accept the offences. Serambala Julius, lawyer for the remaining accused persons, also cross-examined the witness. Court resumed on 14th April 2023, when the accused will defend themselves. Deborah Nama Monde, UBC News.
Kamuli woman member of parliament and first deputy prime minister but also minister for East African affairs Rebecca Litwala Kadaga has committed to elevate education and health in Kamuli district. John Bansentamo reports.
Rebecca Alitwala Kadaga's candle continues to shine among residents of Kamuli district. Kadaga has been pivotal in the development of Kamuli, contributing to causes like education and health. During her latest tour of duty, Kadaga officiated Community and School Day at Kasambira Primary School. This school benefits through bursaries and infrastructure development, while the community, especially women groups, expect sewing machines soon. Her philanthropy has covered projects in Bugulumbya sub-county, where Buoya Health Center and Buoya Church of Uganda Primary School received iron sheets.
So, chairman, Imugira, Esoka Dapoli Waku, ekizibe kizibibwa eky'essomero, ekizibe kizeewo eky'erwaliro, basereke bulungi, abaana bonna obulezi, n'abasoma bonna basoma. Aye maama, amakenda gazire gali kuba, abaana tebali kusoma. Kozesa mukuku kwa amaanyi gonna obwangu. Maama tuteeye ebizimbe, ebisigale bidakwekola byonka. Nekira kyensaba busabe nti era ayongera otuweereza ni mu 2026 ayikirize buyikirize oli muzira mwetaaga baana bokuboneka nti buli ssaawa tubaawo tusobola okuwagira buli mu purojekiti yonna gy'onayita nayo.
We'll now take a short break and return with business. Stay with us.
Iwakato, this is a quick call. I'm almost out of minutes. Now, the center.
Why rush through such important conversations? Airtel Uganda has made it possible for you to call across all networks in Uganda at the best rates with the new Bona voice bundles. Stay connected anytime, anywhere, with minutes valid for calls on all networks. Dial star 100 star 1 hash. Select voice bundles and select Bona voice bundles today. Airtel, the smartphone network.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
Jerry Con! Jerry Con! Hey, Master Blaster! Touch him, man! Bang Jerry Con with muscle! Those ones who say go for you only. Mundawa! First group is I teach you. When I'm going to Muscari, because of the cover is very far. Is you serious? Is serious you? What? Yeah? Just type it on it. Add kilometers to your legs, and you get your sugar. We buy meat from Umaru, and Umaru refuse to give you enough meat. Mama! Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru, Jerry,
okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga awamu teri kitulema.
TB kills approximately 30 people daily, and 247 Ugandans fall ill of TB disease every day. TB has killed dreams and families. We all deserve a chance in life to hustle, smile. We all deserve a chance to dream and be the best version of ourselves. It is preventable and curable. Know your status. TB testing, treatment, and all TB-related services are free in all government hospitals and accredited private health centers.
World of business. Government and other agriculture actors are concerned with the low usage of fertilizers among Ugandan farmers, which could lead to low productivity and a threat to food security. Key actors from all East African community countries are in a dialogue to come up with a policy and regulations to tackle the high prices and counterfeit agrochemicals on the market.
Uganda's economy is agro-based, requiring government to have policies that increase production through encouraging farmers to embrace usage of both organic and inorganic fertilizers to increase yields. However, many farmers are not using fertilizers. Available statistics show that the country's fertilizer uptake stands at 1.5 kg per hectare per year, 10 times lower than other East African countries. The Assistant Commissioner for Agrochemical in the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Mwanja John, says this hampers increase in productivity.
As a government, our role is to provide an enabling environment for the private sectors to be able to put fertilizers on the market at reasonable prices. So you find that some of the interventions, for example, is renting taxes for fertilizers being zero, so that they are not taxes. And then also bringing other key players on board like AFAP and others. And also facilitating the importation in terms of time authorizing the importation to the country so that there is no any delay on the road, on the way.
Dr. John Mukuka from COMESA calls for a need to strengthen the East African community to expand the market.
We have also this regional food balance sheet. We want to come up with a regional COMESA agricultural commodity exchange, which is going to give you information how much is produced, and for you to buy, you can buy your seeds, or your fertilizer anywhere in COMESA because the system has been harmonized, and so that will answer to the most important work that has been given to ACTESA, access to markets. You can increase your production.
African Fertilizer and Agribusiness Partnership Board member Rhoda Peace calls for strengthening the policy and regulatory environment on agrochemicals.
What AFAP is trying to do now is encourage this input distribution system to go further than the center, because fertilizer prices remain high simply because they are quite far from the user.
Now, key agriculture sector actors, both private and public from the East African countries, are in Uganda for a dialogue to increase agriculture productivity. Mary Namkose, Nicholas Nduga, UBC News.
A Shema District Woman Member of Parliament, Rosemary Nachikorongo, has assured Savings and Credit Cooperative Society not to worry about an impending tax. She was officiating the 41st annual meeting of Mushanga Sacco at the Catholic Social Center in Shema District.
The role of savings and credit cooperative societies has been underlined by Shema District Woman MP, Rosemary Nachikongoro. Nyachikongoro says that the grassroots nature of the savings and credit cooperative societies enables them reach the largest population, and thus taxing them like it's being fronted is a disaster.
This rumor that they're talking about, it's not Parliament actually. It's the Ministry of Finance that is trying to introduce now a new tax that is going to kind of tax the circles at different stages, the big circles and the small circles. Here they want to tax 5% and then 15%. However, the waiver was for 2027, and we have not crossed to 2027. So why would now the same government that waived that tax reintroduce it, however much they are saying that they are going to reduce taxes?
She was officiating the 41st annual general meeting of Mushanga Savings and Credit Cooperative Societies that is introducing the health scheme to aid its publics.
As Mushanga Sacco, we have introduced a new product which is health insurance scheme for our shareholders. The purpose of this, our shareholders will be paying little money in form of premium per quarter, like 20,000. And using that 20,000, members will be accessing medical services at that cost. Because we have realized we are losing very many members. Like in 2022, we lost over 60 members. So instead of rushing with condolences, we decided to start with their medical services first.
Sports news now, and we'll look at swimming, where Uganda Sports has continued to raise the flag following exploits to the South Africa Level 3 swimming. Take a watch.
The Eastern Gauteng Aquatic Center in South Africa has witnessed Ugandan's excellence during the South Africa Level 3 Swimming Championship. Uganda was represented by Gators Swim Club that posted good results and will return with 17 medals from the 11 swimmers. The team included a team captain Kirabo Namutebi, 14-year-old Tara Kisauzi who won 6 medals, Paloma Kirabo and Ahir Usadadia who won 4 gold medals and 2 silvers.
We have recently concluded the Level 3 Championships held here in Johannesburg. I am satisfied with the performance the team put up, considering it was the first time some of these people swam in a 50-meter pool, which is a long course Olympic standard pool. We had multiple medals, which I'm really proud of, but I'm most proud of the personal bests that they put up in this competition. The environment was a bit different from what we're used to in terms of weather, in terms of, again, competition pool, and in terms of the way the competition format is, but they still managed to persevere, and regardless from the challenges we faced, I think we did a pretty good job.
Team coach Mwanguzi Muzafa prides in the experience that allowed the team witness intense competition and in an Olympic-sized 50 meters pool.
The unique thing about this event is that the numbers were big, and also the level of swimming was diverse, that it would almost cater for everybody, but most importantly, it would give at least different tones in terms of racing, and I think that was good for the development of our swimmers as compared to some colors that are already standardized at one stage that they cannot develop with some of the swimmers who are younger.
Mwanguzi also relishes the opportunity that entered Uganda's swimmers into the South African database, which is widely recognized by World Aquatics. John Barnes, Sentamo, Ubcnews.
And that brings us to the end of this first edition of News Tonight here on UBC TV. Thank you so much for having kept us company. Remember that our second and final bulletin tonight comes your way at 10 p.m. See you then.
UBC, inspiring Uganda. This week on UBC.
Some of the waste which is biodegradable, we are partnering with the private sector. For example, there is a protein whereby we are collecting waste from our market, and then it is prepared for rearing of the black soldier flies Then black soldier flies are used to feed chicken. Then we enjoy chicken. You get it? We produce food for people. Then we have got plastics. We collect plastics. We take them for recycling at PRI and industry. It is no use for you to generate a lot of waste. It is very expensive for you to manage waste. As KCCA was spending 300 million every month to manage a landfill. That money would do a lot if you had not generated waste. But of course, we cannot live without generation of waste.
It is not albinism. It is not a cancer. It is not witchcraft. It is not that one has HIV/AIDS. It is not contagious. Does not spread through close contact, touching or sharing personal items. No way is it linked to being burnt by twins. It is called vitiligo.
Vitiligo is when a patient presents with part of his body has lost color.
Living with vitiligo has been sometimes challenging when I got older. But when I was younger, it was a bit, okay. But as you get older, you feel the stigma around you. Even yourself, you start self-stigmatizing.
I started small spots. And immediately people said, it's abalongo. It was too much on me. Others would say that I aborted twins.
2009, that's how it started on my skin with small patches. And I thought it was ringworms.
My first pose that made me famous was this one. My second pose that made me famous was this pose that I was just like this. People loved it so much.
This week on UBC.
Or the belief that you can't give what you don't have. So what you put in is essentially what will come out.
To have our young women come out and do awesome things.
You have to value yourself. You need to know who you are. That way you know what you're taking and what's a no-no for you.
My love has come along. My lonely days are over. And life is like a song.
At last, the skies above are blue. My heart was wrapped up in clovers. The night I looked at you.
A logical, deeper conversation.
How many teachers in Uganda did you consult? But there's a mistake we are making. Which is good? Which is good? Which is good? Which is good? We went to this school, we ran it Western, we ran it Northern, we ran, then you come.